Previously on One Tree Hill.
Hi guys, it's
Lauren Daisy.
Welcome back to my channel. One Tree Hill reboot. Let's talk about it. I had to get on here and talk about this. Literally the second I heard about it, they announced it yesterday. I literally woke up and I was like, what in God's name is going on? I said the next video on my channel would be my One Tree Hill season 2 deep dive, but I had to get this up first. That will be coming in a couple of days. Today, we are going to talk about the One Tree Hill reboot and everything that we know about it so far in terms of other like the cast members, the plot, who it's being, like the crew, everything that I've been able to scour and collect and find, I'm bringing to you today. So there's been a bit of a resurgence, well, not really a bit, a huge resurgence in the past few years, especially with streaming services of reboots of old shows. Obviously, I feel like Netflix kind of paved the way a little bit with Gilmore Girls. So we had the Gilmore Girls well, it's not like a reboot, it was like a sequel series. Pretty Little Liars has also had a reboot. Original Sin, Gossip Girl had a reboot as well. And now we have the One Tree Hill reboot. To be fair, I feel like the original reboot was 90210. Like, my girlies really paved the way, and I feel like since then, I don't think a reboot has gotten as many seasons as 90210 got. So it'll be interesting to see, because usually reboots don't do very well. I haven't seen Gilmore Girls, but I know that from my friends that did watch Gilmore Girls and just from kind of like the online reception, people did not take kindly to the sequel series and kind of what it did with the plot and the kind of story that they had left very happily in the original series. Pretty Little Liars, I'm really, if you don't watch my channel, you know I'm really enjoying Original Sin and Summer School at the moment, but naturally having the Pretty Little Liars name, it does get a lot of comparison and criticism, and is currently waiting to be renewed for season 3, and we aren't sure if that's going to happen. Gossip Girl was also quite poorly received, and that only ended up getting 2 seasons before it was cancelled, and so I'll be interested to see how this One Tree Hill sequel is received by fans, because it's already getting quite a mixed reaction, literally just based off of it being announced today. Everyone is kind of talking about it. There's a lot of positives and a lot of negatives, so we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit as well. I feel like Netflix, did I say that? It's being made by Netflix. So yeah, the series has been picked up by Netflix, so that's where it's going to be airing. I wonder if then the original series will be put onto Netflix. I don't know, because like when they did Fuller House, the sequel series to Full House, the original Full House series didn't get put onto Netflix, so maybe it won't. Maybe they'll just keep them completely separate. I currently watch it on like ITV, so it is on there in the UK, my UK girlies, and guys, if you want to watch it, that's how I watch it. I don't know what it's on in America. It originally aired on like the WB and the CW, so if you know where people can watch it if they want to catch up on the old series, like in America or Canada or wherever you guys are, leave it below. But yeah, in the UK it's ITV, but yeah, the new sequel will be airing on Netflix, which makes me a little bit nervous. To be honest, all of the streaming services make me nervous. I feel like the series just get cancelled so quickly. I just saw on Twitter yesterday that I think it's called like Dead Boy Detectives or something. That only got 1 season and was cancelled after 1 season, despite being like 92% rated on Rotten Tomatoes, and people really, really loved it. So there's a lot of that. I see a lot of outrage of people's shows that they really love being cancelled after just 1 or 2 seasons. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how this does at Netflix. So that does make me a little bit nervous. But it being at Netflix does mean it's going to have like a really large budget, and hopefully, you know, that'll mean that all the sets and the locations and the actors and everything, like it, I do feel in terms of production, it's going to be very well done. So I'm looking forward to that. So in terms of who's working on it, like the cast, things like that. So it's being kind of executive produced and starred in by Sophia Bush and Hilary Burton, so Brooke Davis and Peyton Sawyer. For me, I do think it being these two makes sense, because obviously we have the Drama Queens Rewatch podcast, even though Peyton did step down from that, which we're going to talk about in a little bit when we talk about like Bethany Joy coming back. But yeah, they have a very, very close friendship. They are best friends. So them kind of collaborating on this together, and then kind of like the iconic nature of Peyton and Brooke as like best friends. It didn't surprise me that they were kind of leading this project. And so, yeah, they are going to be starring in it. And it kind of seems like, from what's been released so far, that they are going to be the leads. And it's going to be kind of focused around their friendship and them raising their children. There's also writer and executive producer Becky Hartman Edwards. I'm really excited about this actually, because she worked on Firefly Lane. If you haven't seen Firefly Lane, I've never talked about it on my channel, but I really loved it. I watched it with my mom and we both thought it was so good. It was really funny, really emotional, like really, really good. So that does, like, do you know what I mean? I feel like there's good people behind this project, so I am excited to see it. And you're obviously Warner Brothers, because they own like the One Tree Hill rights and everything, are going to be involved in it as well. But yeah, obviously Warner Brothers in terms of like TV, like Gossip Girl and Pretty Little Liars were both like Warner Brother productions as well. So again, I feel really good about that. I'm hoping that they will be filming on location again in North Carolina. So we'll get to see some of like the old sets and things. I know that for a lot of their cast reunions, they do go back to old sets and stuff, so they are still there, and the kind of buildings and things from the show. So I think things like that will all really add up to give it that One Tree Hill feel. Also, executive producers are going to be done through Chaos Machine. So Chaos Machine is owned by Jensen Ackles, who is from Supernatural, and his wife Danielle maybe, Ackles. She was on One Tree Hill as well, and she played Rachel. So she is returning as an executive producer. I think that is confirmed. And then obviously Jensen, like they're kind of their company together, are going to be working on it. But it hasn't been confirmed yet if she'll actually be reprising her role as Rachel, or if she'll just be on the show in a like producer capacity. So that's kind of yet to be confirmed, but from the Instagram post that like Hilary and Sophia put out, it seemed like she was going to be very much involved. So I'm kind of expecting her to reprise her role as Rachel. And then we also have Emily Moss Wilson as a producer as well. That's kind of what we know so far, like that is confirmed and that was released. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about like the plot, and then also speculation around who will be returning, and maybe why I think certain cast members might not be returning, and why I think that some will. In terms of the plot, obviously, originally it was Lucas and Nathan Scott, two brothers, like half brothers who were feuding, and then it's kind of about their mending their relationship, and then also their parents and the relationships that they have, girlfriends and friends, and it's kind of like a big ensemble cast, but they're kind of at the center of it. But with this one, like I said, it's going to be focused around Peyton and Brooke as the center of the show and their friendship. And it says that the sequel is going to take place 20 years later, so 20 years after the final episode of season 9. And it is going to be following them now as like parents to teenagers, and the kind of challenges of raising teenagers, kind of, I guess in a way, sort of the same challenges they face as teens in the original show, but now it's their children that are going through all of that, and kind of how they, you know, parent through that. things like love and romance and drama and arguments, insecurities. And they also did mention grief specifically in the kind of like press release. I did say they would tackle grief. That brings me on to who do I think is going to return and who do I not. So there's a lot of One Tree Hill lore. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that went down. I feel like that's only natural with teen shows. You get a lot of that. Like not everyone is going to get on, but also in turn you do get people like growing up. Like they grow up on these shows. They're so young when they start these shows. There's all kinds of different dynamics at play. Actors and actresses being like pitted against each other. You have romance, you have people that don't get on, and obviously that's going to happen when you have more of a like ensemble cast with so many cast members, but also so many of them are so young. So throughout the years there have been a few different little behind the scenes things I think are going to impact who comes back. So like I said, so far Sophia and Hilary are the only ones confirmed to be coming back. They also have apparently approached, others to come back and are waiting, for it to be like greenlit and stuff. And then we'll kind of, I guess, get a more formal announcement of who else is going to be in it. The only person that has really, I'm not going to say spoken out because it's more of like a rumored thing, but the only one they've really like highlighted in all of these articles is that Chad Michael Murray will not be coming back to play Lucas. For me, I do not find this surprising. He does attend some of the like Comic-Cons and like the reunions and the charity things that they've done over the years, but I think ultimately the fact that this is being led by Sophia Bush, and that's because if you weren't aware, they did get married. While filming One Tree Hill, they were in a relationship, they ended up getting married, and they ended up getting divorced. It didn't end very well between them, and so yeah, for me, as soon as I heard about the reboot, I assumed Chad wouldn't be returning. He's also like working on Freaky Friday at the minute, and he does a lot of his Hallmark movies and things like that, and some Netflix projects, so he won't be returning as Lucas. Now, this is where I think the grief part of the little synopsis they gave comes into play, because I think this series, the kind of catalyst for it and all these like characters coming back together and reconnecting will be Lucas's death. That's kind of like what I'm predicting. They haven't said anything, but I think to me it makes more sense than just Peyton and Lucas having broken up. To me, that just doesn't, I don't know, I think that would be a bit of a weird one to try and work out, and I think it would then in turn be easier and just make more sense plot-wise for Lucas to have died, which I really don't know how I feel about that. I'm not sure. I don't know, I'm really undecided. I think if Chad obviously is not going to return, I think, like for sure, I think then Lucas's death is a better plot point than just them breaking up or getting divorced or something. And yeah, because they mentioned grief, I'm thinking, is this the grief, like the losing a husband and a father and a brother, and like and even for like Brooke, like an ex-friend, an ex-boyfriend, like all those kind of complicated feelings surrounding grief, if that's going to be tied to Lucas having been the one that's passed. I think usually with these reboots or sequel series, they need a big plot point, like I said, a big kind of like catalyst for characters to reunite, and why would they come back and why would they do this, like, and something like Lucas's funeral would work, I think. Listen, I don't know, I'm going to start a bit of a ship war in the comments because I know a lot of people are very Lucas and Peyton. For me, I actually really love Jake and Peyton. So if this was going to lead to then maybe Jake and Peyton reuniting, honestly, maybe I could be a little bit here for it. I would kind of be interested to see how that would play out. And then you'd also get the interesting plot of like the mixing of families with like Peyton's kids and then also Jenny. So yeah, you would have that kind of like step family potential, or like the difficulties of navigating dating after you've lost a partner. And yeah, I don't know, like an old high school flame that comes back, and it's all, yeah, I don't know, I think there's definitely some interesting story to be told there. So to be perfectly honest, I don't know, I'm unsure. I feel like part of me is like, yeah, that would work, because obviously Lucas has his heart condition, so if they're going to kill anyone off, it kind of makes more sense, like at least plot wise, that he would be kind of the first of the group to go potentially, because they do already have a kind of built-in plot device that could lead to his death. So it would kind of make sense. And then, but I don't know, it would be really sad. And then to know in canon that he had died, like, I guess, yeah, like if we're talking 20 years later, like in his 40s, like late 40s, then that would also be really sad to like know when you rewatch the early season. So I do think it'd be really sad, but then I think it then leading to Jake and Peyton would, I don't know, maybe I would be here for it, because I did really love them together. So I don't know. In terms of Jake returning, Brian, who plays him, seems to be on very good terms with Sophia and Hillary. He also like comments on James Lafferty's posts, and they all seem to be like, aside from a select few, seem to be like all following each other and like commenting on each other's stuff and liking each other's pictures. So yeah, he had recently just worked with Sophia on a movie called Junction that came out this year. So they have worked together recently, and also he did comment on Hillary's post. So let me just read you the post actually. Hillary and Sophia, they posted the same thing. They posted the same picture and the same caption. So it says, "What if you can really go back home? If there's an opportunity to team with brilliant creatives and build a space where all of our friends can show off their talents, own our history, reclaim our turf, honor our fans, then sign us up. There's only One Tree Hill after all, and you, the One Tree Hill fam, have shown us that it's not just an idea, it really is the place where everything's better and everything's safe." So there's quite a few comments that we're going to talk about. Yeah, Brian Greenberg, like I said, who plays Jake, he commented on Hillary's post and said Jayton ? With like a little laughing face, and she liked that comment and she replied saying "Your trouble." So I feel like there's definitely a good chance that he could come back, and I would really love to see that. I always really loved Jake as a character, so yeah, I would be down for that. I would be down for a Jake and Peyton reunion. And yeah, like I said, him and Sophia just worked together as well this year, so I think he's probably pretty likely to be in amongst those that would come back. But I think he is also working maybe on Suits LA. He's got quite a few projects, so I guess it would kind of depend on scheduling. One Tree Hill creator Mark Schwarn created One Tree Hill, worked on it for the 9 seasons. He is not a nice man, not in the slightest, and luckily he will have no involvement in this sequel series. If you don't know, back in 2017, a number of the cast and crew of One Tree Hill actually spoke up against him and accusing him of sexual harassment. I think Hillary was maybe the first one to say something, I can't remember, and accused him of sexual misconduct. And then, yeah, 17 other One Tree Hill cast and crew members, female cast and crew members, spoke up against him, and I think like signed a letter or signed a statement or something. And then there was also 25 cast and crew of his other show, The Royals, as well. So he was then dropped from The Royals, and I don't think he's worked since. I hope he hasn't. Rest in peace to that man. Yeah, so he has no involvement, and this means that, because it's just being headlined kind of by Hillary and Sophia, I do love that then they are kind of reclaiming the show. it being their show, and then, like I've said, the writer, like, of what we know so far, the writers, the majority of the producers are female as well, which I always love to see. Like I've said a few times in my videos, female friendship is one of my favorite parts of teen shows, and so Peyton and Brooke's friendship, and then obviously like Haley as well, was something that I really loved from the show. So to see a focus on that is something that I'm gonna really love. But then to also know that they, after having like such a horrible time off screen, like, you know, they obviously went through these traumatic experiences with Mark, the creator, but then also they were just kind of pitted against each other, like especially the three main girls, and kind of created, they like the other, like some of the crew or the higher ups like fabricated this weird feud between them and kind of, yeah, like pitted them against each other, lied to them about what each other had said. And it wasn't until afterwards when they really spoke to each other that they realized these things weren't true and that they had been manipulated. So a lot of their time on One Tree Hill is quite tainted by these negative experiences. So I do love the idea of them being able to reclaim the show in that way, and kind of celebrate the women of the show, you know, and kind of let them shine both on screen and also the crew behind the scenes as well. Speaking of Bethany, or Bethany Joy, but I think people kind of like interchange, so I might call her Bethany, I might call her Joy, but I'm talking about Haley. I don't think she'll return to the show, which is a real shame and a real gut punch, because I truly believe that Nathan and Haley are the heart of One Tree Hill. So that's probably the biggest thing for me, is I'm not sure how it's going to work without them. The reason I don't think she's coming back is because while they did, Hillary, Sophia and Joy, they did all host the Drama Queens podcast together initially, but recently Hillary had stepped down from it. She said that this was because they'd gotten to season 6 when Peyton had left, and she just felt like she didn't have a lot to contribute, so she's letting Robert Buckley, who was in those seasons that she missed, kind of take her place, to share the behind the scenes stuff. And the reason I'm not entirely sold on this reason is because in the first episode of the show, she mentioned that she was really excited to get to those seasons because she hadn't seen them and because she didn't know what happened. So now for it to be such a like kind of big 180, I'm not entirely sure. The other thing is, well, I would say the main thing is that there is kind of a bit of a falling out between Hillary and Joy. It's like publicly the only thing that we've really seen is Hillary felt like Bethany had copied her book cover, and kind of shaded her a little bit for that because they were like a similar design. But that seems to be kind of more of a like little jab, and it seems that their kind of issues lie more in Bethany's conservative views, especially when it comes to like LGBT plus, and specifically like trans issues and things. Bethany has a very strong stance on this. It's hard to say because I feel like a lot of this you hear through podcasts and articles, but I haven't seen, because I don't follow Bethany, I haven't actually seen a lot of these posts. But that is kind of the rumor, is that Hillary and her just clashed. Sophia as well, because obviously Sophia has come out now. But Bethany did comment on her post and congratulated her on like being her, you know, true and open self. So it's a real grey area because no one has made like a clear statement on what happened or if there is a falling out, but they don't follow each other anymore. I'm not sure if they both unfollowed each other, or like some people have said that Hillary blocked Bethany and that's why she now doesn't follow her. So yeah, that kind of seems to be the big divider, which is understandable. It's hard to work with people that you just feel like you just don't align with, and that have very outward views that you find harmful. So that kind of seems to be where that falling out has come from. Sophia and Bethany still do the podcast together, and like still follow each other. So I don't really know if that's just for the podcast sake, whereas like Sophia and Hillary like all of each other's posts, mention each other in their Instagram stories all the time, comment on each other's photos all the time. There seems like there's that real genuine friendship there. With Bethany, not so much. She hasn't liked or commented on the picture that Sophia posted. She's posted a couple Instagram stories in like the past day. Yeah, since it's been announced, like 24 hours or whatever, 48 hours, and nothing. She has not said anything about the reboot. So this kind of leads me to believe that she won't be involved with it. Also on the Do You podcast, back in July, I think it was like early July or late June when that episode came out, they talked a little bit about this feud, you know, with the book cover and things. And they had mentioned that the three of them, Sophia, Hillary, and Bethany, were going to pitch a project together. But Bethany actually ended up pulling out of the project because she did not want to have a gay daughter on screen, allegedly. Like I said, from what I can see, she's never stated this or anything, or no one has said this, but this was just a source that the Do You podcast said had come to them about this. So at the time when they posted this podcast, they didn't know what this project was. And obviously now, with the reboot just being announced, it kind of aligns that maybe the three of them were doing this project together and pitching it together, and then maybe Netflix or whoever they pitched it to, or Sophia, or, wanted Hailey and Nathan's daughter to be gay, and Bethany did not want to do that, and so she left the project. So that's kind of, to me it seems like she won't be returning for it unless maybe they're able to work something out. It's tricky because at the end of the day, this is their project. Like, they are the ones kind of like heading it, but also it is such an iconic show, and I think Nathan and Hailey is just a gigantic part of that. I think it is really like the beating heart of that show. So to have it and have no Hailey will be really weird. And then if we don't have Hailey, does that mean we don't also have Nathan? James Lafferty, who plays Nathan, again, he's not that active on Instagram, to be fair, but he hasn't commented that I've seen, or posted anything about it, nothing. So I do wonder if maybe both of them will bow out of it together. It's hard because for me, Nathan probably is my favorite character. So having One Tree Hill without him in it would be so weird. And I don't know how I would feel about it. I think what would be weirder would be to have him and not Hailey. I don't know. I would hate for them to come back to the sequel and for it to be just Nathan, and for him to say that him and Hailey had gotten divorced and just ruin their endgame. I would never forgive. So I don't know. I also think, as much as I love Sophia and Hillary, I don't know if it would feel like One Tree Hill with just the two of them and with no like Nathan and Hailey, because obviously Peyton left in season 6. Like, she is a huge part of the show, but she did also leave while Nathan and Hailey remained and stayed main characters right until the very end. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a tricky one. I just don't know if you can have a One Tree Hill reboot without them. I'll still watch it, and see. But yeah, and I think as well that's kind of the big thing that's dividing fans in the comments, is saying that, you know, kind of same sentiment of, if there isn't Nathan and Hayley, I'm not watching it. Like, I will not watch it. And people not kind of wanting, I think One Tree Hill's one of those rare shows where people actually really enjoyed the finale, and a majority of people, at least from what I've seen, were quite happy with where everyone ended up. And you don't often get that. To be fair, you don't usually get that with a show where people are pretty content with the ending. So to then mess with that, I don't know, I think it could be a bit of a slippery slope. James seems to, yeah, have like a good relationship with the cast. I mean, like I said, he, you know, they all like his pictures and comment on his pictures, and he said at the charity event, like being back in the gym where they'd filmed the basketball games and things, and like being with everyone is like really wonderful, and that he loves those events. And to like be with them again is really fun. But is that what he means, just in that kind of capacity, or would he want to work on the show again? I don't know. I don't know if he would do it knowing that Hayley wasn't going to be in it. I really don't know. I want to know what you guys think down below. Would you still watch it if it's confirmed that they're not going to be in it? Or for you, does it have to have Nathan and Hayley, or you will not go near it? Because I think I still will. I think no matter what happens with it, I'll end up watching it and reviewing it for you guys. But no Nathan and Hayley. Like, do you know what I mean? That's just like, oh. In terms of like other cast, like I said, there is a lot. Like, they do these Comic-Cons, they do these reunions and things, and they pretty much get everyone to show up from the show. So it seems like they're all on good terms. So yeah, in the comments, we had Daphne, who played Brooke's mum. She said, 20 years later, I will not have a walker unless it's monogrammed. And Sophia's like, oh, I know a designer who could make you something much cooler. Another person, just like a fan account, commented, we want the whole cast back. And Sophia replied, take it from the gals with the executive producer capabilities, goodness gracious, who've been working on this for years. So apparently this was like leaked. She's commented a couple times about it being like leaked or something. So maybe they weren't planning on announcing it yet until they had more of the cast like signed on to do it. But yeah, apparently they've been working on it for years, and they want the whole cast back as well. They've said that in multiple comments that I've seen. Hillary and Sophia want everyone back. She said, our dreams are as big as our show's epic legacy. Brian commented, Jayton. Robert Buckley said, One Tree Hill could not be in better hands, sign me up. Tyler Hilton, who played Chris, said, I'm not crying, you're crying, proud of you guys. Maybe just saying like, happy for you, but also if he's really excited about it, he could also be back. Barbara Allen Woods, who played, oh my God, Deb. I can't believe I just forgot Deb's name. Love her, icon. Also, her daughter was in the Gossip Girl reboot, and she was stunning. Emily, she was in the Gossip Girl reboot, stunning, gorgeous. Anyway, that was a side note. She commented, I'm so in, love you guys. So Deb is coming back. One thing that I am really hoping they keep as good as the original is the soundtrack. The soundtrack for One Tree Hill is 10 million out of 10. So good. Jaina Kramer, who played Alex, she commented, woohoo, ready when you want me. So we're racking up quite a list of people that would potentially want to return. We also had Michaela McManus, who played Lindsay. She commented and said like amazing with like love hearts. So again, for some it seems like they're really like in it, and others is like potentially. Megan Park also commented on both posts with like fire emojis, and that is Tyler Hilton's wife, but she's also an actress. You would have seen her in a bunch of stuff. So I think it'd be kind of fun if she had a role in it. She didn't star in the original, but that could be fun. This is a pinned comment on Sophia's post. Someone commented, unrelated, but that was the most fun weekend in Trick, meaning like the charity event. And Sophia replied to that and she said, and what I love about us is that everyone, in all caps, is always invited. So I don't know if that's maybe her, because a lot of people were like commenting, what about Haley? What about Nathan? What about Lucas? Like, maybe that's her trying to say, like, look, we're inviting everyone. If they don't want to join, that's them, but we have asked them. I don't really know. Ashley Rickards, who played Samantha, or Sam in One Tree Hill. And then Tyler also commented on Sophia's post as well. Kate Vogel? I'm sorry, I'm so bad with pronouncing names. Please let me know in the comments if I pronounce them wrong and let me know how to pronounce them so I will know for next time. But she commented, because she played Mia in the original show, and she commented it's all happening with fire emojis. Again, who knows? There's quite a few. Yeah, it's hard to know. Like some like Daphne and like Robert and obviously Barbara in their comments, they're like, sign me up, I want to do it. Others seem like maybe they're just supportive comments from different cast members. So hard to know. But it seems like most people are down to come back. The other big one that I saw was Austin Nichols, who played Julian. He actually posted a like GIF of his character from the show, like on his feed, on his Instagram feed. He didn't say anything, like he didn't say that he was confirmed to be coming back, but it seems like he's at least interested in doing it. Sophia Bush commented, she put my guy, Hilary Burton put there he is, and Austin replied saying I love you. Fan commented saying Julian better still be by Brooke's side, and he liked this one. Another fan commented, does this mean what I think it means, and he liked that one. And then Sharon Lawrence, who also starred in the show, she said hi baby boy, your mama loves you, and he replied to that one too. So it kind of seems like most people are down to come back and most of the cast are very excited about it. I did see that a few people were nervous that, like when it was first announced, that Austin hadn't been announced to be coming back as Julian, because again, that would create a big rift in Brooke and Julian's endgame. But it seems like they're going to be solid and still together. I think the couple we will probably, are most likely to lose is obviously going to be Peyton and Lucas. But if that leads to Peyton and Jake, maybe I won't be too upset about it. I think for me, the real contention is Nathan and Haley. Everything else seems to be sounding really good, to be honest. I don't have anything that I'm super concerned about. I mean, like, naturally I want it to go well, I want them to do well, and I feel like I don't know, I trust in them, I just do. I feel like they definitely respect the fans, they respect the legacy of the show. I mean, obviously, you know, it's a One Tree Hill reboot, so it's gonna get attention, it's, you know, they're gonna get paid and all that stuff, like it's still a job at the end of the day. But I do think, I don't know, I think they're going to do a good job with it. I hope. Everything outside of just Nathan and Haley, I'm really excited about. I'm excited to see, you know, the female friendships again. I'm excited to see their, like, kids as teenagers and all the old sets. And hopefully the theme song stays the same, or maybe it's a bit of a remix, or like a redone version of it, or like a remastered version, but it's obviously still sung by Gavin, because that's like, they put crack in that theme song, it's so good. They need to keep that the same. So those are the kind of like Instagram comments and things that I've been able to find so far. Obviously it's only been like, it was yesterday at like midnight, I think, like Friday midnight when it was actually announced, so there are so many more things that I'm sure will come out about this show. Like I said, there's no release date. I don't know if it's been like officially picked up by Netflix yet. I think it's just maybe just been leaked. So, you know, they felt like they had to say something. So who knows what's gonna kind of happen there. But, you know, if everything does go ahead and we do get a good majority of the cast coming back, I think it has the potential to be really good. I think if they do it well and they do it justice, I think it does have the potential to be really good. I think as well, like a good amount of time has passed since it finished. So, you know, there's that as well. I think sometimes they can be a bit too quick after, but it has been like over a decade now since it finished. So I think there is definitely room to tell more stories there. Like I said, if they do it well, I think, yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see it. Nathan and Hayley, that does make me nervous. I can't lie, that does make me nervous. But, you know, we will see. I'm excited for updates and things. If we get any big sort of major updates, like cast announcements or plot or release date, things like that, I will make a follow-up video with like a few more updates and things, kind of as I compile enough to actually be worth sitting down and telling you guys about. But yeah, I just want to know what everyone thinks, because yeah, like I said, very, very divided online. Like quite a few people are excited, but also with, if you know, Nathan and Hayley don't return, they aren't too happy about it. I do think, like I said, I think there's an opportunity for more stories to be told, but also to bring more diversity to the cast, and more LGBT representation, because I do think that was lacking in the original. Obviously, you know, for the time, it was just a different time, and I think Anna in season 2 was amazing. I absolutely loved her character. I would love for her to come back. That would be an amazing one to see come back, because I really missed her after season 2. So I think, yeah, there's the opportunity for more LGBT representation and diversity of, like, in terms of race and things. And I feel like they'll do that, especially with Sophia. She's such a big activist, and obviously she is dating a woman now. So I like to think that she will advocate to bring that to the show more, which I'm excited about. And yeah, I still want it to have kind of like the essence of the original and honor the characters that we loved so much. Like, the last thing I want is a Sex and the City and just like that situation. We do not want that. Or like, yeah, the Gilmore Girls reboot, everyone hated, and just like that, everyone hates it. So you always run that risk with a sequel show or a reboot, but I don't know. Something about it, I feel good about it. I have faith. I need clarity. I need clarity on Hayley and Nathan, and then I'll be able to relax and just be excited for it. But yes, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be the One Tree Hill season 2 deep dive. Okay, I promise you, I pinky promise you, this one just came up and I just felt like I had to film it. So yeah, bye guys.